I thought this was an interesting angle to show what pickleball court lines will look like on a bank of tennis courts. So this is 4 tennis courts. So this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like with pickleball lines. Do, 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 do. So I'm just giving you the dimensions and kind of the layout. So these are light gold lines because this particular school, their school colors are maroon and gold. I personally like light blue lines. I will post a picture in the link below, in the description below, that will show you what light blue lines look like. And so I won't go into too many details, but these gold lines kind of stand out more than I personally care for, but it makes sense here because the school colors are maroon and gold. Like you see the pole pad, it's the Madison Dodgers. And so this is how much space there is. This baseline right here, this is how much space there is between the baseline and the fence. I'm sorry, the net. Jesus, I'm going crazy. The baseline and the net. It's one of those, you knew what I was talking about. All right. And you'll see where the ball bounces. There shouldn't be any confusion, like was that on the yellow line, was that on the white line? None of the pickleball lines get and interfere with the play of the tennis court. Like say a serve, no one's going to confuse that, the white line and the yellow line. They're just so far apart, and it's the same thing on a baseline shot. You'll also notice wherever the tennis lines go, I'll show a picture of this as well, right there, we always have a gap. Tennis lines take priority over the pickleball lines, if that makes sense to you. So again, I thought this was an interesting angle to show, just to give you an idea of the dimensions of pickleball lines, because people want to know how those courts will fit. So I thought this was interesting from a bank of tennis courts from that perspective. And again, this is the space for the player behind the baseline, the pickleball baseline, and the fence. Tennis pros, racket pros say that is plenty of space because most of the game is played forward and in the kitchen. And so this is what the courts look like without lines. So my recommendation is, if you can afford it from a space standpoint, it's good to keep a couple courts naked, so to speak. We are going to be putting lines on here. The pickleball's grown so much that they want lines on all the courts, but a lot of people choose to leave a couple courts clean. If this were a country club, you would also want to potentially consider putting up a basketball hoop or a tennis hitting wall if you want to really maximize the space. All right, I think I've covered everything, but let me do one last walk down. My shadow's in the way. Poorly laid out. The layout of this video wasn't as good as the layout of those courts. Cool. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions about your court or me to paint your court, let me know. I have people all over the country that I can get to do it for you. I thought I would hit you from this angle as well. So I'm going to take a couple videos from different angles. So look in the description if you want to see other angles. So I'm going to get an angle from inside the court as well. So this is what we're looking at. I went into descriptions in the other video on the color selection, but I like this color selection for describing this video because they stick out more. They're a little bit brighter. If you go with the light blue lines, you would have been able to see what I'm talking about, but these yellow lines really stick out from a description standpoint, or a visual, I should say. So if you have a bank of 4 tennis courts, assuming they're this size, because this is the standard size, you have plenty of room. Neither of the pickleball courts are in the way of another one, whether it's side to side or with the baseline and the fence and the baseline and the net. All right, I'm going to show you from in here too. So this is what we're looking at. Plenty of space between the baseline and the fence. It's roughly 8 feet. What is that? Oh, geez, I should know that. So a pickleball court is 44 feet long. There's 60 feet from the fence to the net, because it's 120 long, so half of that is 60 feet to the net. So 60 feet minus 44 is 16. So that's 8 feet from the baseline to the net. It's one of those things where I just know the measurement, so I just automatically run and do it. But I had to relearn it to explain it. So there you go. There you go. Voila. So some things I feel are important when doing the pickleball lines on top of a tennis court. For instance, I feel it's important to have a gap here. You're going to see, I'm going to show you another video with paint missing right there and there. The reason why is this is the baseline and the ball is going to bounce. And if you see the lines, no one's ever going to confuse a missed shot between these two lines because they're so far apart. But my concern is right there, what if the ball bounces? There's confusion. So I feel there needs to be a 2-inch gap with the tape, and I'll show you on an actual court what it looks like. So anywhere the tennis lines and the pickleball lines intersect, the tennis lines, in my opinion, should take priority. See? Anywhere the tennis lines intersect. And then for this line, because this is a tennis line, perfect example. That's a pickleball line too. They both double as that's a shared line. Pickleball and tennis. Tennis needs to take priority. So where they intersect, so there needs to be a strip of tape here on either side, just like there is right there. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like down there on the courts that are completed. So I spoke in a previous video about how the tennis lines need to take precedence over the pickleball lines. So you'll see where there's just pickleball, there's no breaks in the line. And when you're playing pickleball, there's no question about that being a pickleball line and where the ball lands. In addition, there's no question here. So my point being is if a ball comes and hits here, there's no confusion between the lines because we know that's the pickleball line, we know that's the tennis baseline, but there could be confusion with a ball bouncing right here where the yellow and the white meet. So it is my contention that that needs to be separated so the tennis lines take priority, take precedence, priority, whatever. So you'll see, again, no break on the tennis line. I'm sorry, the pickleball line there, but yes, there is a break there because it interferes with the tennis line. Even more importantly, this from here to here is a shared pickleball line, pickleball and tennis line. But because the line is shared, it should remain tennis, because tennis is the priority line.